สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning and welcome to the 15th National and 2nd International Conference on Humanities and Social Sciences, hosted by the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Burapha University, co-hosted by the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Prince of Songkhla University, Pattani Campus, the Korean Association of Thai Studies, the Association for Local Community and Social Development, PEN International Thailand Center under the royal patronage of His Majesty the King, together with the Chinese Culture Translation and Studies Support Network. I am Ajan Amon Chasermcheep and I will be your MC for today.
สวัสดีค่ะแขกผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านค่ะยินดีต้อนรับทุกท่านค่ะเข้าสู่งานประชุมวิชาการมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ระดับชาติครั้งที่15และระดับนานาชาติครั้งที่2ซึ่งจัดขึ้นโดยคณะมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยบูรพาร่วมกับสมาคมพัฒนาชุมชนท้องถิ่นและสังคมสมาคมไทยศึกษาแห่งสาธารณรัฐเกาหลีคณะมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์วิทยาเขตปัตตานีสมาคมภาษาและหนังสือแห่งประเทศไทยและ Chinese Culture Translation and Studies Support Network ดิฉันอาจารย์พันธิราชกุลยิลกรับหน้าที่ผู้ดำเนินรายการในวันนี้ค่ะ
As we all know, rapid changes are now taking place everywhere around the world, and these impact our society in many aspects, such as politics, economy, environment, and of course our lifestyles. We as part of the global citizens need to keep pace with these changes, we need to reflect on them, and we need to keep moving forward. Therefore, learning, knowledge, and innovation play such a significant role in helping us adjust ourselves to this unpredictable world. The Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Burapha University, is aware of the uncertainties and changes happening around the world. We also see the necessity to address and tackle the problems we're facing. At the same time, we envision opportunities for humanities and social sciences to flourish in this VUCA world. For the past 15 years, we have hosted annual national conference. And last year, we started to expand our horizon by bringing together international researchers, scholars, and postgraduate students to share their knowledge and insights. And this year, the theme of our conference is Agility in Humanities and Social Sciences in the VUCA world. This conference aims at encouraging cooperations and communications between Thai and international scholars. We also hope that the new body of knowledge would help us understand and help us cope with the changes we're facing right now.
อย่างที่ทุกท่านทราบกันดีค่ะว่าปัจจุบันทุกประเทศทั่วโลกนะคะต่างก็กำลังเผชิญกับสภาวะที่เราเรียกกันว่า VUCA world ค่ะหรือว่าโลกที่มีสภาวะความผันผวนคาดการณ์ได้ยากนะคะมีความซับซ้อนที่มากขึ้นยากต่อการตัดสินใจและมีความคลุมเครือยากที่จะคาดเดาทั้งในด้านการเมืองเศรษฐกิจสังคมวัฒนธรรมสภาพแวดล้อมและอื่นๆนะคะอันเป็นปัจจัยที่เราจำเป็นต้องทำความเข้าใจค่ะและเตรียมพร้อมที่จะรับมือนะคะซึ่งการเรียนรู้และการสร้างความแข็งแกร่งทางวิชาการค่ะเป็นสิ่งสำคัญนะคะที่จะทำให้พวกเราอยู่รอดได้ท่ามกลางสภาวะความเปลี่ยนแปลงนี้ค่ะคณะมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ของเรานะคะก็ได้ตระหนักถึงสถานการณ์ที่ทั่วโลกต่างก็กำลังเผชิญค่ะและเล็งเห็นว่าการใช้ศาสตร์ทางด้านมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์มาแก้ไขปัญหาที่เกิดขึ้นในปัจจุบันนี้นะคะเป็นสิ่งที่มีความสำคัญแล้วก็จำเป็นเป็นอย่างยิ่งค่ะเราจึงได้ดำเนินการจัดการประชุมวิชาการระดับชาตินะคะเป็นปีที่15แล้วนะคะและเปิดโอกาสสู่ความเป็นสากลด้วยการจัดการประชุมวิชาการระดับนานาชาติปีนี้เป็นครั้งที่2ค่ะควบคู่กันไปนะคะด้วยตระหนักค่ะว่าจะสามารถที่จะเป็นหนึ่งในกลไกสำคัญนะคะที่มีส่วนกระตุ้นให้นักวิชาการได้สร้างสรรค์ผลงานเพื่อสนองตอบต่อความต้องการของสังคมค่ะและเป็นการสร้างพื้นที่ในการแลกเปลี่ยนองค์ความรู้นะคะและประสบการณ์ระหว่างนักวิจัยคณาจารย์นิสิตนักศึกษารวมถึงผู้ที่สนใจทั่วไปนะคะ โดยในปีนี้ค่ะเรามาในหัวข้อความคล่องตัวด้านมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ในโลกบูก้าค่ะ
And now let me give you an overview of today's program. The opening ceremony will start at around 9:05. We will begin with a welcome remark by the president of Burapha University. This will be followed by the opening address by the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Burapha University. At around 9:10, we will be listening to our keynote speaker, Kun Porntip Kanjananiyot. She is a special advisor for the CMEO Regional Center for Higher Education and Development. Kun Porntip is an education expert. She has many years of experience in this field. And after that, we will have concurrent paper presentations at around 10:15 onwards, and then we will finish at around 4:30 in this afternoon.
สำหรับกำหนดการในวันนี้นะคะเราจะเริ่มเปิดในเวลาประมาณ 9:05 นาทีนะคะโดยการกล่าวต้อนรับโดยท่านอธิการบดีมหาวิทยาลัยบูรพานะคะและกล่าวเปิดงานโดยท่านคณบดีคณะมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยบูรพาค่ะจากนั้นค่ะในเวลาประมาณนะคะ 9:10 นาทีจะเป็นปาฐกถาพิเศษค่ะโดยคุณพรทิพย์กาญจนนิยตนะคะซึ่งปัจจุบันค่ะท่านดำรงตำแหน่งนะคะที่ปรึกษาพิเศษศูนย์ภูมิภาคว่าด้วยการอุดมศึกษาและการพัฒนาของ CMEO ค่ะและก่อนหน้านี้ค่ะท่านมีประสบการณ์ทำงานด้านการศึกษาที่หลากหลายมากเลยนะคะต่อจากนั้นค่ะทุกท่านจะได้เข้าร่วมการนำเสนอผลงานวิจัยห้องย่อยตั้งแต่เวลา 10:15 นาทีเรื่อยไปจนถึงเวลาประมาณ 16:30 นาทีค่ะ
All right, before we get started, everyone, let me introduce to you our Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences through this video presentation.
และในลำดับต่อไปค่ะขอเชิญทุกท่านพบกับวิดีทัศน์แนะนำคณะมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์เชิญรับชมได้เลยค่ะ
What do you see in Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences? We see the integration of disciplines moving forward to an international platform. We see a long history that paves its way to future planning. We see the management of data that creates possibilities. We see actions in a digital society. We see a strong determination to develop sustainable communities. We see a high quality of natural resource management. We see thinkers who never stop their creativity for communication. We see the importance of languages that connects the world. We see the value of being multicultural. We see the readiness in responding to Eastern Economic Corridor. And we see ourselves creating the future of our society.
Everyone, now it's time for the opening ceremony. First of all, the president of Burapha University, Associate Professor Dr. Wacharin Gasalak, will deliver his welcome remark to all the delegates.
ทุกท่านคะตอนนี้ได้เวลาอันสมควรแล้วนะคะเราขอเริ่มพิธีเปิดการประชุมวิชาการครั้งนี้ค่ะโดยการกล่าวต้อนรับจากท่านอธิการบดีมหาวิทยาลัยบูรพานะคะรองศาสตราจารย์ดร.วัชรินทร์กาสลักขอเรียนเชิญค่ะ
Dean Faculty of Humanities and Social Science, Burapha University, distinguished guest speaker and all participants. It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 15th National and 2nd International Conference on Humanity and Social Science. The world faces many rapid and intense societal, economic and environmental change. This affection in our daily lifestyle and behavior inevitably. So we need to rethink the agility of humanity and social science to adapt and use the humanity and social science to address the new and complex human and social science problem caused by rapid change. On this occasion, I would like to admire and recognize the commitment of the member of the organizing committee in the Faculty of Humanity and Social Science, Burapha University, and all co-host institute. In addition, we are honored to have a keynote speaker, Kun Porntip, the ex-director of Fulbright, who actively involved in the field of humanity and social science, share her opinion and experience at this year's conference with us. Lastly, I wish the best for all the conference participants and more than 80 presenters. I'm confident that you all will find the conference section enriching, informative, and thought-provoking. Please enjoy our virtual conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Wachirin Gasalak, the President of Burapha University, for the welcome message. And it is our pleasure to welcome all the presenters and participants who are interested in joining us today. And just as our President said, today's event will be, of course, beneficial and inspiring for everyone who is joining us.
ขอขอบคุณท่านอธิการบดีเป็นอย่างสูงค่ะที่ให้เกียรติมากล่าวต้อนรับในวันนี้นะคะและอย่างที่ท่านได้บอกกับเราไปค่ะว่าวันนี้เรามีผู้ให้ความสนใจในการนำเสนอบทความกันอย่างล้นหลามเลยนะคะซึ่งการแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้กันในวันนี้ค่ะจะเป็นประโยชน์ในการต่อยอดทางวิชาการกับผู้เข้าร่วมงานทุกท่านอย่างแน่นอนค่ะ
I would like to invite Dr. Suchada Ratanawanitpan, the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Burapha University, to deliver an opening address.
และในลำดับต่อไปค่ะขอเรียนเชิญดร.สุชาดารัตนวานิชพันธ์ค่ะคณบดีคณะมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยบูรพากล่าวเปิดงานในครั้งนี้ขอเรียนเชิญค่ะ
เรียนท่านวิทยากรท่านผู้บริหารคณาจารย์บุคลากรและท่านผู้มีเกียรติที่เคารพรักทุกท่านค่ะในนามของคณะมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยบูรพาร่วมกับเครือข่ายสถาบันขอต้อนรับท่านผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านเข้าสู่การประชุมวิชาการมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ระดับชาติครั้งที่15และระดับนานาชาติครั้งที่2ด้วยความยินดียิ่งค่ะสำหรับการจัดประชุมวิชาการมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ในครั้งนี้มีความพิเศษอยู่2ประการนะคะประการแรกก็คือการประชุมนี้เกิดจากความร่วมมือร่วมใจของสถาบันการศึกษาที่มีการจัดการเรียนการสอนในสาขามนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์อย่างยาวนานทั้งในระดับประเทศแล้วก็ต่างประเทศจึงมาร่วมกันนะคะนอกจากนี้นะคะยังเป็น2ปีต่อเนื่องนะคะที่เราได้ขยายพื้นที่ในการจัดเวทีวิจัยไปในระดับนานาชาตินะคะทั้งนี้นะคะได้รับความอนุเคราะห์เป็นอย่างดียิ่งนะคะจากท่านวิทยากรนะคะคุณพรทิพย์กาญจนนิยตนะคะผู้ซึ่งมีความรู้ความสามารถและก็ประสบการณ์อย่างกว้างขวางนะคะในเรื่องของในสาขามนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ในฐานะผู้บริหารนะคะของมูลนิธิไทยอเมริกันศึกษานะคะหรือที่เรารู้จักกันในนามของมูลนิธิฟูลไบรท์นั่นเองนะคะซึ่งเชื่อแน่นอนเลยค่ะว่าจากประสบการณ์ความรู้อันกว้างขวางของท่านวิทยากรนะคะก็จะทำให้ท่านผู้เข้าร่วมประชุมทุกท่านสามารถที่จะนำข้อคิดต่างๆไปใช้อย่างประโยชน์ได้เต็มที่นะคะดิฉันขอถือโอกาสนี้นะคะในการแสดงความขอบคุณนะคะนักวิจัยนักวิชาการนะคะคณาจารย์แล้วก็นิสิตระดับบัณฑิตศึกษานะคะที่มีความสนใจได้ส่งผลงานวิจัยเข้าร่วมการนำเสนอในเวทีวิจัยนี้อย่างมากมายนะคะท้ายสุดนี้นะคะก็ขออำนวยอวยพรให้การจัดประชุมวิชาการมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ระดับชาติครั้งที่15และนานาชาติครั้งที่2นะคะประสบความสำเร็จสมความตั้งใจค่ะ Distinguished keynote speakers, researchers, educators, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of faculties of humanities and social sciences, Burapha University, together with Networking Educational Institute, I would like to extend my very warm and special welcome to all the participants coming from all over Thailand and abroad to our 15th National and Second International Conference. This conference aims to provide a platform for all the researchers involved to share ideas on a challenging issue which is facing us today on the topic of agilities in humanities and social sciences. So I believe that this is going to be something that we, something that we can learn about from each others. On this occasion, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the co-hosts, and specifically, I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to our keynote speaker, Kun Porntip Kanjananiyot, who is now a specialist advisor to Simeo Light, okay? And I would like to thank all the participants again. And now I would like to declare the opening of the 15th National and the Second International Conference on Humanities and Social Sciences. I wish you all the success and the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sushada, the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, for such a remarkable speech to start off our conference.
ขอบพระคุณท่านคณบดีเป็นอย่างมากค่ะสำหรับการกล่าวเปิดงานประชุมวิชาการของเราในวันนี้ค่ะ
Our first session today is the keynote address by Kun Porntip Kanjananiyot on the topic of Think VUCA++ Act Triple M's. Now it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Kun Porntip Kanjananiyot is currently Special Advisor for the Simeo Regional Center for Higher Education and Development. Before that, she has worked in various organizations related to education. For example, she was the Executive Director of Thailand U.S. Educational Foundation or Fulbright Thailand for 11 years. She has worked in several ministries, including education, the Office of the Prime Minister, and University Affairs. Her work experience mainly involved internationalization, language, and cross-cultural cooperation. Since 2020, she has also acted as the monitor of the government's spearhead project on Kon Thai 4.0. Kun Porntip has also become a podcaster of her own program entitled Learn Plen Plen for those who are keen on international cooperation by PTIP. She got her bachelor's degree with honors in education from Chulalongkorn University and holds 2 master's degrees from Columbia University, one in international education development and the other in educational administration. The keynote panel will be moderated by Dr. Suttaraporn Tanti Niranat.
ลำดับต่อไปค่ะจะเป็นการปาฐกถาพิเศษนะคะโดยคุณพรทิพย์กาญจนนิยตค่ะในหัวข้อ Think VUCA++ Act Triple M นะคะโดยคุณพรทิพย์ค่ะปัจจุบันนะคะท่านดำรงตำแหน่งเป็นที่ปรึกษาพิเศษค่ะศูนย์ภูมิภาคว่าด้วยการอุดมศึกษาและการพัฒนาของ CBO ก่อนหน้านี้ค่ะท่านมีประสบการณ์ทำงานด้านการศึกษาที่หลากหลายนะคะโดยได้ดำรงตำแหน่งเป็นผู้อำนวยการบริหารมูลนิธิการศึกษาไทยอเมริกันหรือ Fulbright นะคะเป็นเวลาถึง11 ปีค่ะที่ผ่านมาท่านเคยทำงานในกระทรวงต่างๆนะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นกระทรวงศึกษาธิการสำนักนายกรัฐมนตรีทบวงมหาวิทยาลัยประสบการณ์หลักของท่านค่ะเกี่ยวข้องกับความร่วมมือระหว่างประเทศในหลากหลายด้านนะคะอาทิงานด้านการก้าวสู่ระดับนานาชาติงานข้ามวัฒนธรรมงานก่อตั้งองค์กรในภูมิภาคต่างๆเป็นต้นนะคะนอกจากนี้ค่ะท่านยังได้ทำหน้าที่เป็นผู้ติดตามประเมินผลของแผนงานยุทธศาสตร์เป้าหมายด้านสังคมทนไทย 4.0 นะคะตั้งแต่ปีพ.ศ. 2563 ค่ะคุณพรทิพย์เป็นผู้ผลิตและดำเนินรายการในพอดแคสต์นะคะช่อง Learn เพลินเพลินเพื่อ Turn Around คนรักงานต่างประเทศ by พี่ทิพย์ค่ะคุณพรทิพย์สำเร็จการศึกษาระดับปริญญาตรีนะคะด้วยเกียรตินิยม ครุศาสตร์จุฬาลงกรณ์มหาวิทยาลัยและสำเร็จการศึกษาระดับปริญญาโท2 สาขาในด้านการศึกษาระหว่างประเทศและการบริหารการศึกษาจากมหาวิทยาลัยโคลัมเบียนะคะขอเชิญทุกท่านพบกับคุณพรทิพย์และผู้ดำเนินรายการในเซสชั่นต่อไปของเรานะคะดร.สุตราพรตันตินิรนาถขอเรียนเชิญค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening, depending on wherever you are. Welcome to our keynote session for NICUSO 2022 this morning. As our conference theme this year is Agility in Humanities and Social Sciences in a VUCA World, we are so honored to have a perfect keynote speaker for our conference this year. She has applied VUCA in her thinking in many lines of her international work in various roles and capacities. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
คุณ
ข
พ
วั
ร
ญ
ทิพย์กาญจนานิยศ or พี่ทิพย์ for all Fulbrighters and everyone. Welcome to Burapha University and thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thanks for the honor.
Okay, your keynote title is really interesting. Think VUCA++, Act Triple M's. Before we begin, I'm curious to know what comes to your mind when you hear the word VUCA.
Well, when we talk about VUCA, everyone knows it now. And I really want to turn it around a little bit. You notice the color that I use?
Oh,
Yeah, I use green. And everywhere, people have to become greener for our contact or our environment, our climate, or anything in our environment. So instead of just being a VUCA green, I really want us to look beyond that to be greener and greener because I am personally an optimistic person. So let me go by VUCA++. That means go VUCA and more with greens.
Right. I cannot wait to hear all about it. So P-Tips session will last about 45 minutes. And after that, we have a 15-minute Q&A session. So if you like to interact with our keynote speaker, you are more than welcome to. Okay, at the end of her speech, we will open the floor to all the questions, feedback, and comments. Or during her speech, you can type your messages in the chat box and we will respond to them as soon as we can. All right, P-Tip?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
The
Let's
floor
go
is yours.
greener and greener. Okay. Thanks very much for this honor. When I first heard from Kwan saying that Pitip, could you come over and talk? I said, okay, VUCA is me. And what about agility? Oh, it's not that difficult now that we have the change all around us. But the tough one is on humanities and social sciences. Anyway, it gives me sleepless nights until I start sharing my points. Then I wrote it down and I said, okay, when I use VUCA as green, there is something else beside VUCA. So I put it as my first sharing point. And the second one, because we are in the university circle, why don't we talk about university matters and then end with my dream and my wish? And that could be our everyone dream and wish. So I told you that I had sleepless nights. And then one night I dreamt, and this was literal because I dreamt about this. I dreamt that I was in a house. It should be kind of a modern house, yet looking around the house, I saw a lot of assets and all very valuable. Crystals and then porcelains and different kind of stuff cramming in all the cupboards. Then I saw a lot of young people in the house. They live together. They talk with each other. I observed their lives. Yet no one talked with me, as if I was invisible to them. I could only talk to one girl who then said, oh, I got some old stuff here as a souvenir. So I looked at the souvenir and I said, what are you doing with that souvenir? Do you really know what it is? And that has triggered my thinking for today's talk. So follow me and let's see if I could really lead you to what I like to convey. Now, technically, we need technicians. So see, no matter what, social sciences, humanity people have to work with the science people, the technicians, and all this IT. See if I can get to the next slide. Okay. I always put VUCA in red. The meaning is this is dangerous. And then if you see the loop, I was very proud to present this loop because I created that. I said, well, you know, life was very normal until there was new normal. And that was what I talked about almost decades ago. And I said, it will come like this, new normal, and then it will be now normal. You think about the social media. There's a new media. Right now it's the now media. And it goes into this loop. That is not true. What is happening? I love this book, The 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. This is the one that I picked up from Yuval Harari's 3 books. I was struck by the term he's used, useless class. We will leave a lot of people behind if they don't learn and if we don't let them learn and encourage them to learn. He said, no one-time future for us, no clear-cut skills that you can really teach people. And besides, the most important thing and the key word is we are hacked and controlled by AI and big data and so many things. And that also lead me to listen and then follow his YouTube and speeches in a lot of occasions. Several things that struck me as well. One is that he always talk about we and AI, and he said, you know, you think that AI can't compete with us. You think that AI don't have the empathy, physical and mental, cognitive skills. It's not true. They are coming and they are very similar to us. And if you think that you can keep your job forever, doctors may soon lose their jobs. What about us? He doesn't talk about us at all, okay? And actually in one of the recurrent books that I read, Future Skills, which was written by a young scientist, he said, he was talking to one very senior scientist. And when he asked that scientist, what would you want to take up if you had to go back to the past? He said he would pick philosophy. What does it mean? That means a lot of things to us. So that will be another point that you can ponder on. And also, we think that we are in the creativity sciences and we are creative people. No, sooner or later, AI may be able to compete with us. And another thing is, the new terms that I heard very recently are the 2 terms, digital dictatorship and data colonialism. That is very sciences, yet it concerns people. So whatever happens to this VUCA world, the red world, it concerns a lot of challenges, plus sciences oriented in our world. Yet, another thing that I was thinking of, when you look at VUCA, you think of it as a red. Why don't we turn it into a green, which will make us feel more positive, more hopeful? So I came up with this term. I really want to use it as a VUCA, but then people won't know. So I said, okay, why don't we change from red into green? And then looking at VUCA, when we look at the VUCA in red, talking about V as volatile, C as complicated, we don't talk about people. VUCA touch on only issues and situations. Why not people? When we are competing, I don't want to compete with AI. I think we are creating AI to help us. And why don't we talk about people when we are in the human and social sciences? And that's why I changed the VUCA red into the VUCA green with the plus that go greener and greener. And this is my reason. From the same loop, I changed into new normal to start with new normal. And who will know? And I actually borrow this term from Kun Ton Sun, Santithan Sathian Thai. He used the word new abnormal. Who knows that after new normal, we may never go into now normal, but we will go into new abnormal. So that means let's expect anything that happens in a hopeful way that we can really handle it. And the loop has been redo in another way that I really like with some hopeful things. The green one, actually, I got it from a Harvard professor who said, instead of looking at it as a volatile, you look at it as a visionary. And then U for understanding, and C for clarity, and A for agility. That means with the hopeful aspect, you have the agility in you already. And also, when you compare the V, VUCA red and VUCA green, right away you see that VUCA green talks about people. People have to be visionary. People have to understand it, so on. So this one is the new loop that I really like. Go on. Yuval Harari also said he is a historian. Historian is not supposed to think about the past, but historian talks about changes from past to present and then for the future. And that's why in our field, when we talk about our research or our studies or knowledge that we can get anywhere, we are talking about all these terms. We explore, we try to confirm or discover something new. And we have options. So finally, it should be the impact that we make on human beings, on our world. And it's not just other things. And what I would think is that once we have people in focus, we look from past until the future. What do we see? We look at the roots of the root cause of the problem, and we look at our roots. We look at the local wisdom and culture. We also talk about social interaction, something that social media can, to some extent, give us, but not human to human touch, like what we have. And also, when we talk about social science and humanities, we are talking about our harmony with nature. The last one means a lot to me. In 2005, I read an article, and I love something about future studies. I read an article saying that by the year 2015, people will go more trying to seek the meaning of life. It doesn't show as much, but it will be even more for people to find why we exist. And it's about humans, and it's about the way we live in harmony with nature. So these two mean so much to me. And no one in any field can do it as much as us in the humanities and social sciences field. We understand more about diversity. We really want to include people. We talk about inequality all the time. We want to belong, and we want everyone to belong. And what is more important is this: we have heart. Humans have hearts to really exist fruitfully in this world. And if we are talking about metaverse, we have many worlds, and our hearts go everywhere. It depends on us how we look at it. And so I really like to touch on why, like Simon Sinek said, start with why. So we now look back and then ask our own selves, why humanities and social sciences research exists in university and what for? And Kwan has been looking at me and saying, oh, okay, Pitip, go on. Are we here because we want the academic titles? Do we study or we provide knowledge because we want an academic title only? Or the first on the rank, top 10, top 100, top 500? Why? Why do we exist? For me, I would think that this is the brain power with hearts that link with the world. And for our people, the younger generation and also older generations who could be outdated, to come in and then upskill their thinking, sharpening their skills to really live on in their lives. And this is more wonderful than any other things that people are racing for. So when I see this, I started thinking that, people in university also think that, this is the academic freedom. Yes, people have their own passion. Keep it alive and well, because on one side, it helps so much to share and then pursue for excellence. But what about our own passion for us in one same field, in one same world, in one same worlds in the future, to keep from my passion to our passion? Who will strike the balance? You will be the one deciding. And what else do I see? I am the one always looking at the big picture. So for me, I think that is it possible to have the shared future, even though they say no one same future? What about us creating our own future that we agree more or less together and then trying to cooperate? These are some of the buzzwords and people always say to make it cool, but we don't see action. We have provide platforms from the scientists and other people. And we have a lot of processes in place, assessments in place. But what about us looking within ourselves in the disciplines, saying that we are dealing with people across culture? We talk about generations anywhere. And also, right now with the climate change, we talk about cross-cutting issues with more understanding that we need to be aware and be part of it. And right now, as an international conference, we are talking about cross-regional issue, cross-regional collaboration as well. So what is most important is this: could we see the big picture together? If we have the big picture together, the process is yours. The options are yours. The balance is for you to strike. And this will be really good for us to bridge the gap, because there are a lot of gaps everywhere. And then when I identify some of the gaps, I come with the triple M's. And here they are. The first one is mindset. People talk a lot about mindset, and I really want to see it in action. What does it mean? When we talk about AI, we have to realize that AI has no childhood. Only humans have childhood. And actually, I got this one from the recent book that I mentioned, Future Skills, and it's from a scientist. See, being from a scientist means that scientists really understand that no matter what, humans are the one to stay to make this world a better place. Because it has no childhood, we have a lot of experiences to share, and we also have our passion to do the better for the change of the world. I love these two quotes, and I can't help sharing with you. The first one is from Yuval Harari. I told you, I really love him. And I love him say, when you talk about 3 words for the future world, what will be your 3 words? He said, data. Okay, for scientists as well, for us as well to have the data lake, flexibility. Anyone in any science have to be very flexible in the changing world, in the VUCA green world. And the third one, humanistic. I really think that this is what could be lacking in some of the disciplines. And looking at Pat, who is now a student at the MIT lab, and when he said about technology, he's very much into technologies. And he said, technology helps us to be more human. I really love it. I really love him, actually. And I will follow him wherever he go and talk, because his insights come from staying with a lot of people in the science area. Yet, scientists start to be looking more towards the humanistic side as well. So what about us? Looking to the science area as well, trying to strike some balance somehow, trying to integrate somehow. Now, let me lead you to another one that I listened recently, and I find it shocking in a way, looking into myself. In one podcast program, one young generation, I think he is in his 12th grade, of an national school in Thailand. He said, you know what? It's our creativity because we are so very much used to what we see. You look around at all the aliens that we draw and then we create. You see heads and hands and legs. Why do we always do like that? Because same old criteria, always think that that is the best of us. And we unconsciously, subconsciously follow that, maybe blindly. So I was thinking about Tinder and the use of technology. When we use technology, we have the limits controlled by the so friendly algorithm. Algorithm helps you when you want to search something, when you are thinking of something, it comes and shows a lot of things that you want. What about something that you don't want but may be very useful? Tinder is like that as well. If I talk to the younger ones, I would say, okay, when you go to Tinder, you will tell your criteria. Okay, for me personally, I really love people with lighter skin, tall, and at one point I was very young and somehow I didn't wear glasses and I didn't really realize how glasses could be so frustrating to me. I love guys with glasses. So if there were Tinder in my age, I would have the specifications like that and I miss out a lot of things that might be even better. See, so I come here with inputs equal similar results. So what that means is that, are we under some kind of the humanities and social sciences algorithm? Or if we talk about people in the public service, they have rules and regulations, and rules and regulations have become their algorithm in life. Oh, you cannot do this. It doesn't go by this rule and that rule. What about us? Really cover in our brain and heads and discussion without our knowing or without knowing, but we feel that it's comfortable. It is something familiar. What are they? Thing is that we think we have our passion, we'll do the best, we'll follow for excellence, and we stand in silo. And that's on the individual basis. What about the whole discipline, the whole area of social sciences and humanities? Do we stand alone in our fields? Or we just say, okay, we do the exchanges across our field in social sciences and humanities. Could we cross the line to sciences and let us have more expressions across sciences, boundaries, generations, professions? And actually, I should have the fifth bullet to say, across the worlds. That means we don't have just one world. We have a lot of worlds. And how do we make it across to let us have more explosion of knowledge and understanding in our worlds? The second one, we don't really talk much about people in management of research and in this field. So I just made it up. Could we have something like see everyone always have see something else? So I said, what about CRMOs? That means Chief Research Management Officers. So what about this? I'd like to tell you a story of a lady. Her name is Pasena. And she said in her Facebook, and I asked for her permission already, she said, better scientific output is not only attributed to better science, but better operations and better culture. And in her description about herself, she said, care to involve people, organizations, and communities. That means scientists like her is really willing to really involve people. We in our area involve people, talk about societal interactions of people. Why don't we connect with them? One beautiful thing is that you see the picture that I put there, and that is the career path. For people in management, the career path is not that prestigious and not so many people want to do that. But Thai Tip said, I don't want to be a researcher. I want to be one who manage the macro picture. So what she did just a couple of days ago, she wrote up her job description and she went to her supervisor and she said, she really wants this job and she loves to manage and she doesn't love research as much as she wants to do managing. So the boss said, we don't want to lose you from this center. She said she doesn't want to lose the center either. So both of them come to agreement that this is the first time that the supervisor saw one draft the job description and she has got the job. And they both will sit down and in a few days, they will decide what career paths will be for management of research center, the chief officer who will be taking care of the macro picture. Will be the very person to really make sure that we have the shared vision and missions. And I put it possible. Actually, I shouldn't have the question marks because I think everything is possible. It depends on the options and what options we come up to. If not enough options and it's not so possible, try new options and it will be possible. And this would be something that I got from my monitoring responsibility under the คนไทย 4.0 Thai People 4.0, which is a huge research project on social science and humanities. And that team are very agile. It makes people under the same huge project see one same picture with futuristic perspectives. We are not doing perspective just for the past, but we run through from the past, present, and future. So we know what to expect at least. Maybe we could see some of the weak signal that will come very soon. And also, this Spearhead project opens to experiments. So they are trying to include people from different areas, from agriculture to future studies, to even some of the local wisdom area like the culture and arts. And also when we have some new tools, then they become the platform for the manager to really set up the training for new researchers. Another thing that I like to show is this, mixed gens. They have different generations working together. So that means in order to coordinate such big management, you really have to have the very capable leaders. What else do? They have the learning platform for all of our people to share. And when people of mixed gens coming together, they network them together and within and across fields. So it was so nice to see the younger ones changing their role. Instead of being the leaders, they become the expert to really review the articles and the research work. And they have the knowledge management to really capture and save it and build on it for other projects to come. My role will be monitoring the overall process to see how things go, how people react to the management, and also how people learn and think about the management. Key thing is this. We always say that, people don't really know what we do because we don't communicate enough. Sometimes it's because the contents, context, and communication. So these are the three things that I think very essential for us to know and aware of. First of all is that we need to categorize all these research studies, all the knowledge pieces that we have by objectives. Do we want it for publications or do we want it just for the general academic sharing or for general public? Because it means knowledge, awareness, statistics to start new or build on the existing research. Or then if we can categorize them, then we select or coordinate with proper channels. There are so many channels. Within and across cultures, they are also very different as well, and hire suitable communicators. We can't be the one communicating all the time. Let other people who excel in communications area to do it. And I put influencers because influencers can make the general public aware within a short time while we are speaking our own language that maybe no one can understand except our own circle. And that is not what good we do. We need to do better than that through communications, through different channels, and through clear understanding of the objectives. The third one is this, mentoring and coaching. So we need to have the mentor and coaches that will help with the growing of relationship. I love this story a lot. I read from one book. You'll see the references that you can cite all through the slides. In 2018, when we have AlphaGo, which excelled in the code play, and this guy gave in because he couldn't fight the AI. What happened was he lost, but he won. He won because he wiped his tear in front of the audience, and the audience felt empathetic of him. So this is what we want. We are not AI. We have empathy, and we should make it stronger before AI will compete with us in its empathy. And with empathy, that means we hold on and strengthen our relationship for us to be more humanistic. To do, I would love to see more diverse researchers and educators and academics to be on the same side of the table. That means we're talking about RA, we're talking about rising stars and renowned researchers. What about new and old kids on the block? Because some old kids don't really know that this is a great area to be in. Let them know. New kids get scared. They don't really know what. Feel them in and then engage them into our world to make sure that they would love it or leave it is their option. But after they know what our circle has to offer. Why mentoring? People would say, oh, first of all, you are looking at the quality pool and talent search. Do we look only for talents, leaving so many people behind? And do we look for talent to be? Because we see that once they have exposed to some experiences, they can become one of the talents. They can be the quality pool people that we look for, and we have more people in the circle. Besides, we will have the relationship nurtured. Some will be inspired so much that they might want to be in the field or do something else like Hatay Tip did. And this would be the learning shortcuts. Instead of having to start from scratch, people can learn some shortcut tips. And also, some people who came here say, I didn't even know the path to research funding. Oh, really? It has been around for so many decades. How come the younger generations don't even know? Something is wrong. But when looking at the mentors and coaches, I think one basic fact is that they'll see role models. They'll see that the quality and ethical researchers, educators, academics have these kind of qualities that they want to follow. Have that kind of passion that fill in their heart with joy and curiosity. So this will be the third M that I really like. I have a little story here for mentors and coaches in the future, and even now, they may want to coach about pitching tips because there are areas that people don't know, and the younger ones talking about pitching a lot. What about in our area, social sciences and humanities? People always say that, oh, that's a science thing that is for the startup, the entrepreneurs. not about us. Is it true? Because this one tells a lot, especially this. I have this little story about my niece. She went to digital marketing training. And the guy there is one of the very popular speakers. And he said, the way he managed to choose to be the speaker is that he asked all the training organizations to come and they pitched in front of him. And this is the training that he chose. See, so in the future, could we pitch for mentors, researchers, and CRMO? Or instead of mentors pitching for us? Or anything of that sort. There are a lot of exciting ways for people to really pitch and then get options to meet their needs. And this will be a fun world for us to really explore, get some more expertise and understanding. For my dream and my wish, I think we are all agile actually, because if you're ready to work in teams, not just follow your passion only, you're agile already. If you have the growth mindset, you're agile already. And for VUCA, go by the green side, work with AI, benefit from AI, and then look at the macro picture to speed ourselves up through different things, and then using the triple M's to act. You have growth mindset or not? Do you want people to manage it at the quality level? And do you want to have some kind of systematic yet fun and trendy mentoring? So these are my dreams and my wish. What about your dream and wish? But the last one is this. I really hope to see humanities and social sciences shining and keep on shining. Because research without inner into ourselves of mindset and outer walls for well-being of humankind, we cannot shine. But right now we are shining, and I hope that we will keep on shining further and then become greener and greener with the VUCA Green++, and don't forget the triple M's. Here come to the part. Thank you very much for your attention. We now call for questions, observations, and comments.
Right. Thank you very much, Pitip, for your inspiring keynote speech. I can see the sparkles in your eyes as usual. Thank you very much. And I think your keynote address is really timely and well needed for researchers in humanities and social sciences. Like you mentioned, when we think about VUCA world, how can we contribute as humanities and social sciences researchers? What can we do when it's about science, technologies, and AI? Mm-hmm. But now we can hear the new word, VUCA.
Yeah, VUCA.
And to be part of this VUCA world, we have to be agile and have positive thinking, right? When you use the positive marks in your title, and I think it's really helpful.
Thank you. Oh, I'm glad that at least I communicated.
You did well. Thank you. And we have time for questions and answer. We have about 15 minutes. So anyone in Zoom or in the live, okay, you can unmute your microphone. Raise your hand first, unmute your microphone and talk to our keynote speaker. Pitip is here. As you have heard from her, she is a seasoned international educator who has seen things from the macro perspective. So if you need any advice, suggestions, or if you have any comments, please feel free. You can also type in the chat and we'll be very happy to read the questions for you. Okay, while waiting for the questions from the floor, Pitip, you have 3 M's. And what is the most important M in your opinion?
The first,
the first.
Yeah, you go
The
around
mindset.
these days, anywhere, people talking about the mindset. And if we don't change our own mindset, if we keep doing that, if we have algorithm of some kind on our head and mind, it's hard.
All right.
Yeah.
And do you think we need another M in your, why I'm asking, can you put this,
Okay.
please? Because we have a hand in the Zoom on the left
okay.
ear, please. And I'd like to connect to the audio here. A
Okay.
moment, please. We have our keynote speaker from last year, Dr. Brooke Hessler. She joined us here on the first conference last year, and I have seen the hands. Ajahn Brooke, hello.
Hello, it's so exciting to witness this keynote address. I'm so inspired. So I do have a question, if that's okay.
Sure.
You can hear me okay?
Very clear.
Okay, great. So I loved your translation of VUCA into a condition of living in harmony with the natural world. I thought that was brilliant and inspiring. And I loved it also when you shared that quote that AI has no childhood. And so I found myself putting those two together and thinking about how another thing that AI doesn't have is an embodied experience of the natural world. So like AI can't climb a tree or go to the beach, and use those experiences to generate insights into complex problems like, to encounter climate change or other kinds of issues. It relies on algorithms, but not lived experience. So my question, and I guess it's also my wish, is about how we might connect our students to nature as a way to help them generate insights. So would you mind talking just a little bit more about how we might, as educators, connect our students to nature as a source of inspiration for their intellectual or creative work?
Yeah, this is really very tough.
Would you like to put it down for a moment?
Okay. Other people can hear the questions as well, right? Okay, this is very tough. When it comes to students, we have some complicated factors. Actually, I should say challenging factors, because for younger generations, they are exposed to something else in their own growing up context. And so also they have their sets of algorithms in them. The classic thing to do is to engage them in some kind of the real design thinking projects. If we redesign some of the things that involve them thinking of having empathy on their end to see what they want, and the theme could give them some keywords like, okay, how do you think about the climate change? How do we live in harmony with nature? What would you want to do? And let them decide. They may come with some out of the world imagination, and we accommodate them, and we co-design, co-create some of the things with them. And some of the things that we experience and we feel that we are inspired, share them. Let them expose what we have been inspired. And maybe some of them might find it click. So I think it's tough, it's hard, but it's possible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brooke Hessler. And I think you guys share the same in common. You are people persons, I can tell, right? And you care for students and learners, the future of our country, our world, right? Thank you very much for the questions. We still have more time, please. So if you don't like to unmute your microphone, you might want to put your questions in the chat, please.
And if you don't have any questions or comments or observations, I have a question for Kwan.
Really?
What are the keywords that you got from what I told you all?
I have got so many keywords.
Okay, tell me
The
three.
first thing is people oriented,
Mhm.
right? I really love it that you mentioned about people, right? We focus on people instead of the situations or circumstances. We put the people first. And another word is humanistics, because we are humanities and social sciences. So I really love that keyword. And empathy. Another one is ethical. And I think we can do better than any other fields. When we think about human, we put people first. And that's what I have learned from your keynote. And I have one question. Pitip, you mentioned 3 M's, and I asked about what is the most important one, what is the most urgently needed, that is the mindset. How about another M? Do you think money should be in that?
Actually, I always put money last. And that's me. Because if you have great ideas, if you are creative, you will get funding. And if you get to know the sources of fund, you get funding. So that to me doesn't really matter. The core of the matters is how you become very creative. Use your curiosity to the best. And funding is there. Sometimes we have to admit that funding agencies have their own agenda. We can twist a little bit just to get the funding, and part of it could really answer what we are after.
Right. Thank you. We have one question in the chat, so let me read it aloud for you. Researchers in humanities and social sciences are requested to measure the value of their research based on SROI, social return on investment. Okay, so what do you think on this quest? SROI or social return on investment?
Are we thinking far too systematic in the scientific ways of investigation, and everything has to be valued in terms of quantity?
Yes.
Yeah. Because sometimes you just can't tell the value, the real value that people have. The other day I was sitting with my niece, and then she said, "How are you doing with your meditation class?" It's hard for me to say. I don't really have some evidence to tell her. So I said, "Oh, I think I feel very eager to really jump out of my bed and sit to meditate." She said, "Really?" So she challenged me further. So I said, okay, I was trying to find for some evidence. I wore a smartwatch, and I said, you know what? I wore a smartwatch, and during my meditation, it showed that I had some light sleep and deep sleep. Does it tell? She said, oh, we should come up with meditation watch. It tells a lot of things. How do we value what we feel is hard, but we may be able to find some evidence, and it may broaden what we talk about to other areas of interest as well. It's hard to answer this, but for me, some of the things may be a little bit less scientific in terms of evidence. You can also, whatever, if you want to find some evidence, okay, make it the spectrum. How far do you feel? How progress does it make? That's okay. At least you find some more way. But to come up with the social return, I think that is the macro picture. Let the management do it. Yeah. Come up with the group of management, policy people, and then researcher as a think tank.
Think tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's it. Right. Thank you. I have seen Ajahn Brooks' comment here. You see that? Yes, I love your emphasis on the centrality of human experience as members of a community that can capitalize on our curiosity and imaginations to make the world a better place. Very nice comment.
Yeah, very nice comment. Thank you very much, Ajahn Brooke. And so proud of you because you are bright and you're shining, and this area will be shining.
Definitely Fulbright. Okay, she's a Fulbright specialist that we invited last year. And maybe one last question for you, Pitip. Maybe it's a simple question, but might be difficult to answer. I'm not sure. Okay, as we are humanities and social sciences researchers, sometimes we are stuck in our silo, our thinking silo. How can we get out of this silo and get across to other disciplines and fields and collaborate with other researchers in other fields?
Yeah.
What's the first step?
I think engage ourselves in some of the different zones. I think of one little example of me when we had orientation for the newcomers in the Fulbright Circle. And that day, one engineer student came to me saying, Pitip, I'm looking for an engineering student that doesn't seem to have any engineer or science around. I said, come on. You will be mixed with other people from other fields, and then the diversity will make you learn even more and different. A few weeks later, he said, this is amazing. I learned so much from their thinking. It is so different, and I feel I'm growing. So we too have to get out to the different supply boxes.
Comfort zone.
Yes, go into other comfort zone, share with them, and then lead them back to our zone as well. So by exchanging on the diverse groups, I think it is really very possible. Not just possible. We'll have a lot more imagination. We have a lot more fun.
Right. That's humanities and social sciences. Fun.
Yes.
Creativity. I think there are more keywords. So many keywords today, Pitip. And thank you very much for your inspiring and, of course, insightful keynote address this morning. And I hope that the audience have been inspired by your address, and they are ready, or at least motivated, okay, more motivated to cope and thrive in this VUCA world.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for today's address, and thank you very much for being with us. ค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ พี่ที
Thank you.
ค่ะ Okay, now everyone, thank you very much for your participation and attention. I hope you have a great day and enjoy the rest of the conference. Now I'd like to hand the stage over back to the MCs. Thank you very much and goodbye. สวัสดีค่ะ
Kumpantif for such an inspiring talk. And thank you very much, Dr. Sutrapan, for moderating this session. I believe that the audience is now motivated and ready to work with AI and shine in the virtual world. And if you miss out any part of presentation, don't worry. We have already put the slides in the chat and you can check them out.
ขอบคุณคุณพรทิพย์เป็นอย่างสูงค่ะสำหรับปาฐกถานะคะที่สร้างแรงบันดาลใจให้กับพวกเราในวันนี้ค่ะและขอบคุณดร.สุตราพรด้วยนะคะสำหรับการดำเนินรายการนะคะดิฉันเชื่อมั่นค่ะว่าผู้ฟังของเราในวันนี้นะคะคงจะได้รับแรงบันดาลใจดีๆนะคะในการนำไปต่อยอดนะคะทางวิชาการรวมถึงเป็นแนวทางค่ะในการปรับตัวโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งในวันที่เราถูกเทคโนโลยี disruption อย่างในวันนี้นะคะสำหรับท่านที่อยากจะดูข้อมูลเพิ่มเติมในสไลด์ของคุณพรทิพย์เมื่อสักครู่ค่ะมีไฟล์แปะอยู่ในแชทบ็อกซ์ของ Zoom นะคะ
Short break, and then we will have concurrent paper presentations both in Thai and English. For those who are interested in the national conference in which the presentations are in Thai, please join rooms 1 to 5. And the English speaking presentations as part of the international conference will be in room 6 and 7. The panels start from 10:30 and we will have a 30-minute break at around 1 o'clock. Then we will resume the sessions at 1:30 and we'll finish at 4:30 this afternoon. You can find more information about Zoom links in the chat and also on our conference website.
สำหรับช่วงต่อไปยาวไปจนถึง 16:30 นาทีเลยนะคะจะเป็นการนำเสนอผลงานวิจัยห้องย่อยค่ะทั้งระดับชาติและระดับนานาชาตินะคะโดยห้องที่1ถึงห้องที่5ค่ะเป็นการนำเสนอผลงานนะคะระดับชาติค่ะและห้องที่6ห้องที่7นะคะเป็นการนำเสนอผลงานระดับนานาชาตินะคะโดยเมื่อสิ้นสุดพิธีการนี้ค่ะเราจะเบรกกันสักครู่นะคะแล้วก็จะเข้าสู่ภาคเช้าของการนำเสนอบทความนะคะในเวลา 10:30 นาทีถึงเวลา 13 นาฬิกานะคะจากนั้นก็จะมีเบรกรับประทานอาหารกลางวันกันสักครู่นะคะแล้วก็กลับมาสู่การนำเสนอในภาคบ่ายค่ะเวลา 13:30 นาทีถึงเวลาประมาณ 16:30 นาทีนะคะท่านผู้มีเกียรติสามารถที่จะดูรายละเอียดการเข้าร่วมแต่ละห้องย่อยนะคะได้จากข้อมูลในแชทบ็อกซ์ของ Zoom นี้นะคะรวมไปถึงในเว็บไซต์งานคอนเฟอเรนซ์ของเราค่ะ
On behalf of the conference committee, Ajahn Panpilat and I, Ajahn Amonchat, would like to thank you all for attending today. We hope that you will find this conference very intellectual and inspiring, and we do apologize for any inconvenience caused. Last but not least, we hope to see you again in our 16th annual conference next year. Thank you.
สำหรับงานประชุมวิชาการในวันนี้นะคะเราหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งค่ะว่าจะเป็นประโยชน์ต่อทุกท่านไม่มากก็น้อยนะคะหากผิดพลาดประการใดค่ะดิฉันอาจารย์พันพิราชและอาจารย์อมรฉัตรนะคะในฐานะตัวแทนผู้จัดงานค่ะต้องขออภัยไว้ณที่นี้นะคะและหวังค่ะว่าในปีหน้าคณะของเราจะได้รับเกียรติต้อนรับทุกท่านอีกครั้งในการประชุมวิชาการมนุษยศาสตร์และสังคมศาสตร์ครั้งที่16นะคะสำหรับเช้านี้ค่ะเราสองคนขอตัวลากันไปก่อนนะคะแล้วก็เดี๋ยวจะเข้าไปร่วมฟังการนำเสนอบทความในห้องย่อยด้วยกันสำหรับวันนี้ขอบคุณและสวัสดีค่ะ